Thompson Peak is the high point of the Sawtooth Mountains, and some say it's the most spectacular. I'm a little bit unsure about that because I've seen some pretty spectacular mountains in the Sawtooth. Anyways, I'm excited to take a look to see how that hike went.
This is our trail to Thompson Peak, and we are starting just at sunrise, and the trail is a nice beginning next to a river. Heading up on the ridge, which should give us a view of the valley. When we called the ranger's office, they said that the fire was 90% contained, which means there's a fire in the area that is probably still active right now. Right now, the smoke is diffused. Hopefully, it's not going to be concentrated and prevent us from summiting. We'll see. Love an aspen grove, but not so much when people carve their names in it. Kind of a form of graffiti, don't you think? We've got to the ridge. We're going to follow this ridge for a couple miles. And up here, we see a sign. It shows the Marshall Lakes, which we're heading. That's that high alpine lake. And you can see way off in the distance, Redfish Lake below. So about a third of the way up the ridge, we can definitely see where our forest fire is coming from. Right through there, it looks like. And I'm hoping we're going to be above it, because our peak is right over there. Well, 2.5 miles in, 1,000 vertical feet, an hour and 6 minutes, so we're entering the wilderness area. Oh, we're after a lot of flat stuff. This elevation has gone way steeper. It's gonna be hard going down. Wow, we're up there. It is a smoky day. A few times the trail is a little more than a suggestion, but it makes it fun. Trail kind of petered out, so now we got a little bit of boulder hopping. Hopefully not too much, we'll see. After going a little bit of boulders, we get to our first little meadow, and the air is getting considerably cleaner, but it's still too hazy for my taste. I'm hoping that the afternoon wind will clear it off, and somehow we got to climb that. We are almost above the smoke line, I think. The trail below the big lake is faint at times, but super easy going. I expect we'll be at the lake in just a few minutes. And here is this magnificent lake. I can imagine it'll be a little bit more beautiful without the smoke. But oh my goodness. Look how the cliffs crash down right to the base of it. It is absolutely outstanding. Wow, look at that. This might be our last flowing water. Sometimes in the spring this cascades. Right now it's just a trickle. This is definitely not on the map. So cool. Beautiful little lake. So here's the head wall. Some parts are basically vertical, but what we're doing is this weak point with the cracks. We had to go through a little boulder field to get there, but not too bad. We haven't really encountered a big difficulty yet, but I think the hard part's coming around the corner. All right, so we're at the first saddle here, and boy, that knife edge ridge looks really daunting. I didn't know there was like a little lake up here, which is kind of cool. So now we have a bunch of boulder hopping to get up to the saddle, but believe it or not, that's only 800 feet above us. So we're actually fairly close in terms of elevation. But I think the next major difficulty will be all these boulders. There are bits of trails every now and then, but it's kind of hard to find. You definitely want to use the all trail map. This is supposed to be the hardest part, this little boulder field to get up to the saddle, but frankly the boulders are not shifting. It's fairly easy, and the summit is just right there. It's not that far. I think we're 20 minutes from the top.
Not feeling that pinching pain.
On the ridge. Oh, that's a little scary down there. Let's see here, where do we go from here? What? Nope, not that. We have to be on top of that. Wow. What's the top over here? Let's see here. What's the, oh. Wow. I love a summit where the top is literally pointy, and down every side it goes crazy vertical.
Yeah, going down is going to be a little freaky though, for sure.
This is the highest point in the Sawtooth, and many mountains look they're the same height, and it turns out many are within 20 feet of each other.
Yeah, I agree.
But this summit is an awesome spot to be. Great spot to have your lunch.
You just kind of go down.
Great spot to enjoy the view. I do wish that we had less smoke. Guess I'll need to come back.
We'll see, I'll follow y'all's lead.
Summit register. Let's see what's inside.
Oh.
Bunch of notes, bunch of handwritten things. No swag, no rubber chickens, no flags. Is your flag? No flag.
Lots of notes.
All right, on the way down now. And boy, it's a little area up here, isn't it?
I've never seen anything like it.
No.
Some of those.
So the lake was covered with smoke on the way up, so we didn't get a good view of it, but I am really looking forward to seeing this lake on the way down. It is gorgeous. Oh, lake's looking cool now. This is the forest fire, and the smoke is really contained right now. It hasn't dispersed, so we're still kind of clear here, way more clear than the morning, so we can see the lake. All right, here's my last view of this high alpine lake. Look how it's sparkling. It's magnificent. I can't believe we climbed that mountain. I love how the cliffs just cascade directly into the water. Now, up here, you can see the clouds of the forest fire, and this is what was giving us all that grief this morning. And right now, it's clear where I am. I could barely smell it, but I think that it might become a problematic soon. Ooh, it's getting pretty. On the way up, this was completely socked in. Visibility was a couple hundred yards at most, so we got no view. But coming down, now we can see the other mountains. We can see our mountain. It's just way, way better. The wind has really cleared out the smoke. Around the corner on this last part of the descent, you can see a firm line where the smoke is and where the smoke is not. Ugh. The steepest part of the trail, and it's difficult because it's hard packed, and there's like little BBs on top of it which want to make you slide. This has Keister drop written all over it, but you know what, I'm getting a good purchase with my trekking poles, so I'm feeling confident that I'm not going to fall. Oop, almost through it. Last of the hard part of the trail. From here on in, the gradient is about perfect, where it's downhill, so you don't have to expend an effort, but it's not downhill enough, you have to slow down. So it's just a matter of pushing your legs in front of you, and I think it's going to fly. I think we have 3.5 miles or something, and I bet we'll do it in an hour. This trail goes quick. We're walking along a ridge. I don't know why they didn't put the trail on the ridge. I think it would have given us a better view, but you know, it's fast. We definitely did not see this view on the way up. Wow, look at those mountains. They just go on, and you can see the fire smoke just kind of casting a red hue on everything occasionally. So the fire we were concerned about is across that opposite hill, and you can see that it's all burned out. But the fire we actually got that gave us the most grief was behind the mountain, and you can see how it's clear over here, but quite bad over there. This is our last descent down Thompson Peak. We're coming off the ridge. We get to the bottom of this little bit, then it's going to be flat for about 1/2 mile, and then we'll be finished. Well, that's the ridge we climbed, and the mountain is behind that smoke cloud, which really is well defined right now, but it was kind of all over the place this morning. So that was Thompson Peak, the high point of the Sawtooth Mountain. And the first third was super easy and straightforward. The trail was well defined and very fast. The second third was a bit more difficult, a lot of vertical, some careful maneuvering. And the last third was orienteering and trying to find the path of least resistance. It was spectacular. There's no other word for it. The peak itself was gorgeous on top, and I loved every minute of it. And I have to say, without the smog and the smoke, I think it would be stunning. But we really had limited visibility for much of the day, which means I've got to come back.